Today we're going to talk about percent of change. And first is we're going to look at how things either increase or decrease by a certain percent. So they have these examples here, and there's nothing wrong with the way they present it, but this is what I decided to do. I don't think that's the best method. I think there's a better method. When you're trying to find percent change, and that can be a percent of increase or a percent of decrease. So here's all you have to remember for this lesson. New minus old over old. Or you could say new minus original over original. That's the words they use down in the examples, is original instead of old, but this is shorter when you say old. So new minus old, all divided by old. So let me show you. So state whether each percent of change is a percent of increase or percent of decrease. Then find the percent change. Round to the nearest whole percent. Okay, so figuring out increase or decrease should be pretty simple. We started at 50 because that's the original, and we went up to 80. So I can go ahead and say increase for this. That's not hard. Now to figure out the percent of the increase, that's where you use the new minus old over old. So I take the new price minus the old price, all divided by the old price. 80 minus 50 is 30. Divided by 50. You do that in the calculator, you'll get 0.6. And you are welcome to use your calculator and all this. But we want the answer to be not a decimal, but a percent. So we have to move the decimal over 2 spots. So it is 60%. So it was a 60% increase that they saw here. Okay, on number 2, the original is 90, the new is 100, so it's gone up, so it's also an increase. You just gotta remember, new minus old over old. So new minus old over old. We get 10 over 90, which gives you 0.1 repeating. So you move the decimal over 2 spots, and like they said, round to the nearest whole percent. So we'll just say it's 11%. It's an 11% increase. One note I want to make, I know I'm not showing a calculator on here, but in your scientific calculators, you should not plug this all in as one long step. It will only be dividing the second number by the bottom if you do that. So if you just typed in 100 minus 90 over 90, you're going to get the answer 99 because it's just going to turn that 90 over 90 into a 1 and do 100 minus 1. So you should put 100 minus 90, then hit enter so it shows you the 10, then divide by 90. So treat this as 2 steps. Subtract, hit enter in the calculator, then divide. Now if you want, you could also put parentheses around the top, and then you could do it all in one line, but it'll work either way. I'd suggest just doing the top, hit enter, then divide. Okay, 3, we have a decrease because it started at 45 and went down to 20. So we know it's a decrease. So we do new minus old over old. So that's negative 25 over 45. And when you put that in your calculator, you'll get like a negative 0.56. So we don't have to put the negative, but the negative helps confirm that it is a decrease. So we get a decrease of 56%. Okay, number 4. This is another decrease because it goes from the original 77.5 down to a new price of 62. I don't know why I said price. These could be lots of things. Could be price, but it doesn't have to be. So it's a decrease. So the old, no, wow, I gotta do this correctly. the new minus the old over the old. And when you type it in the calculator, you get 0.20. So it is a decrease of 20%. And I encourage you, if you're not, try these in your calculator. Press pause if you need to so you can make sure you know how to plug it in the calculator. I'm just going to do two more because they really are the same pattern I hope you see over and over. Here we have an increase because it started at 140, went up to 150. So we do new minus old over old. That gives us 10 over 140. And when you reduce that, you get like 0.07, or it might be 0.06, then you round up. I can't remember, but regardless, rounding to the nearest whole number, it's 7%. So an increase of 7%. Okay, last one is a decrease because it starts at 135, goes down to 90. We do new minus old over old. So you get negative 45 over 135. That gives you negative 0.333333. So again, the negative confirms you were correct in saying a decrease. So it rounds to 33%. Okay, now as of the point that I'm making this video, this is the only material I plan to quiz or test on regarding this lesson. I am going to show you some problems on the back of this page because I think it's good practice for real life, but it's not going to be what's quizzed on. So this is talking about when things are on sale, or talking about just sales tax when you're buying things. So again, there's nothing wrong with the way they teach it, but what they do, how they teach it, requires multiple steps. The one I'm going to teach you requires just one step. So for sales tax, you take the original price, I'll just put P for that, and you multiply by 1 plus the tax. So here's what I mean by that. So on number one, the original price of the shirt was $24. So that's the price. You put 24 in first. And then 1 plus, but we don't put 4%. We have to change this back to a decimal. So we say 0.04. So in your calculator, you can type in 24, put a parenthesis, or times, then a parenthesis, 1 plus 0.04, and it gives you the answer immediately. It's 24.96. So that tells you the sales tax adds 96 cents to the original price. Okay, same thing on the CD player. We would do $142, that's the price, times 1 plus 0.055. Make sure you use the parentheses in your calculator. Or if you don't use the parentheses, you could do 1 plus 0.055, hit enter, then multiply by 142. And for that you get 149.81. And when we're dealing with money, always round to the nearest hundredth because that's the nearest penny. No reason to go farther than that. So just round to 2 decimal places so you round to the nearest penny. On this one, we have a celebrity calendar, $10.95, that's the price. We multiply 1 plus 0.075. When you multiply those together, you get that the price ends up being $11.77. So that's for sales tax. Now for a discount, it's almost identical except for one thing. Sales tax adds to your price. A discount subtracts from your price. So instead of doing 1 plus, we do 1 minus the discount. So a CD Compact disc, $16. We do 1 minus 0.15 because they're taking 15% off the price. So the new price is now $13.60. $13.60. 2 concert tickets, $28. Student discount, lucky you guys. We do 1 minus 0.28. So we get a price of $20.16 for 2 concert tickets. As if we could get them that cheap. Yeesh. Airline tickets, $248, but the Super Air discount for you frequent flyers ends up getting charged just $166.16.